Supergirl issue 1, written by Steve Orlando and art by Brian Ching. And of course, we like the Rebirth issue a lot, but as typical
Yep.
with the Rebirth books, the issue ones have been better, and I think that stands here as well. I think, sure, don't get me wrong, there was
Yeah.
no Kryptonite werewolf. I'll concede that,
No, and that's
but
fine. I just my main problem is with the art. I'm not a big fan, and it's not bad. It's just not my taste of the art.
oh really? Because I
It's
really like the art. This is interesting.
yeah, it looks really good in places, but I think sometimes it looks very cartoony.
I think it is, but
Um,
it's the type of cartoony I can get behind. Like, I'm not a fan of the like the Scott Pilgrim sort of cartoony style.
yeah,
That
right.
does nothing for me. But this style I really like because this feels like a really fun, like edgy style where it's like it feels very like it feels like it has that teenage energy that it should have because of who Supergirl is right now.
Yeah, I get that, and I get that out of New Superman, out of the art style there.
Yeah, again,
You know,
also good but different in its own thing. Yeah,
yeah, and so that's just it. And it's not a major thing. Like I'm not gonna stop reading because of the
like
art. It was just certain certain motions Ching was doing with the characters. I thought they looked weird, and the way the eyes are. I just
I don't know. I
you
see.
know
I love how I love when anyone makes a face in this book. See, whenever every time Kara like skulls, I love it.
that's the good part. But like the excitement stuff, I think was a little off. So, but
Oh,
again, it's just a personal thing.
yeah,
It's nothing that's gonna make me not
yeah,
read it.
uh,
Because the story in it, I really love because it's it's a side that I've never thought of Supergirl. You
yeah.
know?
It's dealing with her whole like being a teenager on Earth when she remembers Krypton and how she was like a great student on Krypton, but here because she's still
Yeah.
trying to learn how everything works and she doesn't have the same like scientific tools and things like that, so everything feels really different.
Well, and Krypton was so advanced that it makes our stuff now seem Stone Age to her,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she can't comprehend it. Like there's a scene with her with an overhead projector, and she doesn't understand it because on Krypton that was a holographic projector, and you could interface with it.
Yeah, you could just
And
either talk to it or wave your hand at it and it would do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and here she's like, I don't know what to do, and everyone looks at her like, oh, look at the weird girl.
But the funny thing is, you
And,
can understand this. It's like a kid from today being asked to
yeah.
like use a VHS or something. Maybe that's a bad example because play and stop is still the same function. But you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of thing.
I know what you mean.
Like no,
Yeah,
like it would be like asking a kid from today who's never seen a vinyl to put a record on, and then being like, "Well, what do you mean I put a needle here?
where's
Like, yeah, like how does
where's
this?
the sound coming from? Where's the display? How do I
Yeah,
know what song I'm gonna find?
yeah.
Yeah,
How do I
definitely.
shuffle?
But I like that aspect. And the other aspect I really liked too was her being a teenager and not as trusted as Superman.
Hmm.
She just can't go willy nilly to handle things.
Oh yeah, because director Chase is like, "Oh, this was
Chase,
unauthorized." Yeah, when you went to
yeah,
this train, I mean, intentions were great. Sure, you had people in
yeah,
trouble, but you know, you're not Superman. You have to like run this by us.
yeah.
And
And
yeah,
Cat even admonishes her for it and doesn't even really know her yet
which
in
again
this
is
continuity.
one of the things we talked about the last issue, the Rebirth issue, was that Orlando's taken a lot from the show, and
Yeah.
I'm not complaining because I think the show is very good and a really
Hmm.
good version of Supergirl. And I like that some of the stuff they're bringing in here is stuff that the show also explored. This whole thing of her like going half cocked and like not being prepared is something the show's dealt with, and it's like part of like
Yeah.
Supergirl's character and part of how she's always been like the angrier version of Superman. Not
Yeah.
a bad person, just like she has a temper. She can
Well,
like
yeah. She's angsty,
yeah.
like yeah.
And partly because she also has lost her world, and unlike Clark, because Clark, I mean, in a weird way,
He was
like
a he was a baby.
yeah, he doesn't remember
Like
anything. It's not like
no.
it's like yeah, you lost your entire planet, but
He's
you don't know it, you know.
Yeah, he's a first generation immigrant, like for all intents and purposes.
Hmm.
He's Kryptonian, but he's of Earth in America. Where she's one of those immigrants that knows the old country, and is kind of like, oh yeah, well, I kind of liked it over there, but I can't go back,
Yeah, yeah.
so what do I do?
Except here, it's more like she moved from a first world country to a third world country because the
Kind of,
technology's
yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And so, but definitely, and this character, I can't remember his name, but who's like what's the word I'm going to look for? He's magnetized towards her because she's so odd. He goes to that school
Oh yeah, it's
that she
the other
does.
kid. Yeah, I don't even know if he'd learn his name.
Yeah.
Like he's there to talk
Okay.
to someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're talking about her, and a lot of it's kind of mean. But he's like, I'm fascinated by her. Like, she just doesn't make sense, and I need to get to the bottom of that. So it's just like they're building the core characters up, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that they didn't just ape the show because I like that. I like when stuff's similar but distinct,
Yeah, yeah.
and that works with the Flash as well.
They've got Cat Grant being kind of like Cat Grant from the show, and like
Yeah,
riding her hard and all that stuff. And I hope they build that relationship because it's one of the fun parts of the show. But again, it has its own things. Like in Supergirl in the show, we don't have her being a teenager and learning to drive, and
no,
all of these
oh,
other elements and
that
stuff
scene
like that.
too.
Oh, yeah, when she
We're
puts
learning to drive.
her foot through the bottom of the
Yeah,
car. Yeah, that's great.
turns it into a Flintstones car. Because she's so. Cause I remember, because you don't have a driver's license. I don't think you've ever driven.
No.
But I remember learning and being so frustrated and doing that because parallel parking sucks.
Yeah, but
Like, it still sucks, and I've been driving for years.
But imagine how much more frustrated it would be if you like, but I can just fly. Just let me fly.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't need to do this.
So yeah, they're getting all the teenage stuff to a T.
Yeah.
And
I think all that stuff's a lot of fun. I'm liking how they're building the parents, the surrogate parents, Jeremiah
Yeah.
and that. And they're like trying to like dress up the house like a Kryptonian house, and she's like, "Well, this is great and all, but this is like Krypton from like 300 years ago."
yeah. Well, and also Jeremiah learning Kryptonese
Oh,
and
yeah,
saying the wrong words, and that just cracks me up. Like,
yeah.
it's mostly there, but the words that he's using
Also,
instead.
I am
so-
delighted that in the comic they actually said Kryptonian because I vastly prefer that word to Kryptonese.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I need it to be distinct enough. Because when we say he said it in Kryptonian, I don't know. But Kryptonese sounds like a language.
What about
You know?
Kryptonlish? Like
Kryptonish, yeah.
Kryptonlish.
Yeah. But
But no, all that stuff's great, and him getting the words wrong. Yeah, there was a lot of fun stuff, and I like that she gets frustrated and she flies off to the fortress, and we get this side. My only criticism of this, like, there's a quick flashback to like Superman like telling her about the fortress, and it's New 52 Superman because it makes sense that happened during that time. But she's already got the long hair and the new outfit in the flashback. I thought that was a bit weird. I feel like that was maybe just a mistake.
yeah,
Well,
that was probably an art error, and they're just like, oh, we'll leave it.
Yeah, like
Because she should have been wearing the one piece with the Marvel cape,
yeah.
or Shazam cape.
So that's fine and well. But I like that she goes there because this is the closest thing she can get to Krypton. But of course, waiting for her there is Cyborg Superman, who full on knows that he is her father.
Yep.
And
well, and we get these little teases about Zor-El in Argo City
oh yeah,
throughout the issue.
Yeah, we get these flashbacks throughout of her with her father on Argo. Yeah.
So,
which is good because it teases that relationship and it makes it relevant. It gives it context.
So yeah, so it definitely it left off on a nice place, and we always talk about which ones we wish were double shippers or bi-monthly. This one definitely, I would not mind more Supergirl.
Oh, absolutely. And we're getting a out of continuity mini that looks great as well soon. So we will get two issues of Supergirl a month. In a way for a while.
I said this a couple times in our short podcast span, but I always used to complain how much more Batman books there were than Superman.
And now there's so many super books.
Now they're just like, here, read this. Here, I'm like, okay. And I'm grateful that I have them all. So
it helps that they're all good. Like
yes.
Like Action Comics, I still really enjoy, and is probably easily the weakest Superman or super related book.
It's up there for me with New Superman. They're down towards the bottom of a list of just Superman books.
Yeah, of a really great pile though. Like.
Yes, yeah, that's the whole point. Like, I don't want it to be like they're lesser than, but if I had to choose which ones I'm reading first, they're towards the bottom compared to these other ones. So.
Yeah, another reason I like this, we talked about the art at the start of the review of this book, but I just wanted to mention the colouring a little just quickly before we leave off because there's not a whole lot to say except that it's really vibrant. It works with the art really well because it keeps that fun, vibrant style going.
Yeah, there's like a sketch style to it almost.
Yeah. And I really like that. I think Superman books should be vibrant, which is why almost after a while you stop mentioning it because it just looks the way it should almost.
Yeah.
That's not to say that
Yeah,
you can never do a different style as like a Superman book, but for the most part, right now they're mostly going with these vibrant colors, and that's right. And then with Batman, you have your darkers and your
tones, which you should. I mean,
yeah, it
when
makes
the
sense.
characters both came online, were created.
You
it was
joked
almost
that.
thought
Hold on, Matt. You joked that I'm a robot. You just said when the characters came online.
it's been a long day. All
Okay.
right. But when they were both created, it was almost thought that they were heroes of the same city during different times of the day. Where Batman handled the night, Superman was in the day, and then a couple years later, they were distinctly Metropolis and Gotham City.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so they should work as that, binary.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, you can have different color and styles. Because I saw, I think it was a commission piece I saw this week from Fiona Staples. She did a Green Lantern piece, and I think it's from 2010, so it wasn't like a new thing. I just seen it for the first time this past week.
Yeah.
But the colors were all like, it's hard like her style of art, but the colors were all kind of like this nice muted green, and it looks so different from what Green Lanterns look like in comics for the last like 10 years. I was like, man,
with the bright, vibrant green.
Whereas this played with the darks and made it more more of a contrast. And I'm like, oh man, I really wish we could get a Green Lantern looking like this for a while, because this is.
It reminded me of Darwin Cooks, how New Frontier was colored. With that,
a little bit.
That was a little bit lighter, but this had that aspect to it. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'd be so down for like a Superman or Supergirl that's watercolored. That could be amazing. But I just this vibrant stuff is really great right now. And it feels really consistent between Superman and Supergirl. I think these books look very similar in terms of the colours.
Yeah.
Which is great. So that's Supergirl, which we have raved about for long enough.